Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. It's me, Nurse Farah, your career coach and business bestie, right? So today I want to talk about nurses who are interested in business, all right? So I'm live right now on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok right here. So today I wanted to talk about a free webinar that I have that's going to be hosted tomorrow. I'm going to host a free webinar tomorrow, November 13th at 12 noon lunchtime. All right. And this is for any nurse that's interested in either starting a business or growing their current business. Okay. So, why should you attend this webinar? Who is it for? And what will you learn? Okay. And what will you get out of joining this webinar? Going to get into it right now. But for those who don't know me, maybe this is the first time that you're joining me live and you don't really know about the mission, the vision, and the impact. Basically, in a nutshell, my name is Dr. Farah Laurent. I've been featured on multiple podcast media such as the Jennifer Hudson Show, Sirius XM, Sigma International, so many others, right? Really about the work that I do for new graduate nurses. So I help new nurses level up in their career and land their dream job faster with confidence, making six figures. All right. And I want to normalize nurses making money moves and normalize nurses making business moves. I also wrote a book. I'm an author, right? Nurses making money moves, a nurse's guide to starting a business. You can find that on my website. And I'm a podcaster. I've been doing interviews and podcasting for the last 4 years and going live, content creator, obviously. And like I said, I've been hosting these different events for nurses who are interested in business. I've been doing small mastermind events here in Clearwater Beach area in Florida, and also just hosting, different little events to get nurse entrepreneurs together. So my first conference was called Nurses Making Money Moves, and that was held just this past March in Tampa, Florida, where I had about 80 nurses in attendance. What's up, Nina? Nina Nurses. Had about 80 nurses in attendance, and I pulled that event off in less than 3 months. Basically, I had an urge. I've been wanting to do an event for a long time and create a space for nurses to come together to learn about how to advance in their career and also how to advance in business, whether they want to start a side hustle or take their side hustle to become a main hustle. What's up, Lorena? I see you a lot on LinkedIn. What's up? I wanted to say hi to everybody. If you have any questions or comments, please drop it in the chat, even if you're watching the replay. And again, really my mission is to empower nurses and female entrepreneurs to start making more money and to really have multiple streams of income, to understand the different opportunities that you have in nursing, right? So not only do I want nurses to start thinking as themselves as a business, to start marketing and promoting themselves for other opportunities, but also to see themselves as a brand, because whether you know it or not, as a nurse, you do have a personal brand. So whether you're managing this personal brand or not, it can potentially hurt your career growth or your business growth if you're not really managing your personal brand. So these are topics that I really like to talk about here on my podcast, The Nursing Dose with Farah, and that I talk about when I do speaking engagements. I talk a lot about nurse entrepreneurship and branding for nurses, right? So today I wanted to come on and talk about any nurse that's interested in starting a business. I'm going to be creating this series now of different webinars that you can actually drop in and start asking questions. I'll have opportunity for Q&A. I'll have opportunity for quick hot seat coaching for maybe a particular problem that you're stuck on. And that first webinar is going to happen tomorrow. So it's happening tomorrow, November 13th at noon, 12 noon Eastern. who can attend? Really, any nursing student, new graduate nurse, nurse educator, nurse in leadership, anyone that's interested in business can attend this webinar. And even if you've been a nurse entrepreneur for several years, or you're just starting your journey in nurse entrepreneurship, this webinar is for you as well. What I'll be talking about is really a little bit of my journey of how I started my business 4 years ago as a nurse career coach, and a lot of the popular questions that I get, such as, do you need to be certified to be a nurse career coach? The answer is no. Are there some certified coaches? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to get certified to start a coaching business, right? So again, I've been a nurse career coach for the last 4 years. I've been helping new graduate nurses and also nurses get into leadership and education. I've been doing that for the last 4 years, right? But now I've really focused in more on the new graduate nurse, and I've helped over 200 new graduate nurses land their dream role. And if you're just joining me, like I said, if you're just joining me live for the first time and you've never heard about me, like I said, I've been featured on different podcasts internationally, in the UK and South Africa, been on the Jennifer Hudson show, been featured in Sigma International, which is a huge nursing organization, right? And I have my own podcast, like I said. So I want nurses like you to start understanding that you can start monetizing your expertise right now. What do I mean by that? You can start making money on what you already know right now, taking your intellectual property and turning it into a product or a service that you can actually charge and make money for, right? A lot of times there's organizations that may reach out to you and say, hey, can I get on a quick 1-hour call to ask you a couple questions to get your perspective on something? Guess what? If you position yourself as a business, as a consultant, you can start now charging for those types of calls and not giving away your intellectual property for free, right? So, I've been a consultant myself in the past. I do more career coaching, but I've been a consultant. Like I said, I've also had paid speaking engagements, been invited to several speaking panels, different conferences, and things like that. But in order for you to get to that level, right, you need a strategy. You need to be able to be comfortable with being visible. So that's something we're going to cover tomorrow in the free training and the free webinar. So if you are interested in joining this free webinar, and this is for any nurse that's interested in business, whether you want to start a business, even if you don't have an idea, you might have an idea, but you don't know what the next steps are, this free webinar is for you. Whether you're in education, maybe you're a clinical educator, maybe you're in academia, and you're like, you know what? I need a second set of income. Maybe I want to tutor students or have my own education consulting business. Maybe I want to consult and do curriculum consultation, simulation consultation, whatever that is. This can also be for you. Maybe you want to venture out and become a speaker because you get asked to speak a lot, but you want to start charging more for speaking, and you want to position yourself for success and really brand yourself as a speaker, but you don't really know how to do that, right? These are things that we're going to be covering tomorrow in this free webinar. And of course, if you come to the free webinar tomorrow, which is November 13th at 12 noon Eastern lunchtime, at the end of the webinar, you will have an opportunity to learn more about my business accelerator for nurses. And if you are eligible and you meet the criteria to join this business group coaching accelerator, if you join on tomorrow's webinar, if you join live, you will get a complimentary ticket to my conference in Tampa and be able to hang out with me live and with all the other speakers live and all the other attendees. It will be complimentary if you come to tomorrow's webinar and you join the group coaching. Again, you have to be eligible to join. We'll talk about all that tomorrow. And if you do join the coaching program, it'll be a 3-month coaching program that will kick off before the end of the year, all the onboarding. And then we will really get into it January, February, and March. And then you will lead up into the conference, because the conference is March 6th and 7th in Tampa, Florida. So not only will you be a part of a community, of a movement of nurses interested in business and growing their business and making money moves and business moves and creating wealth, right, in community and learning from each other, learning from me. And I'll have guest speakers and things like that come through as well. This accelerator is the first of its own. So you will get basically some perks for being the first cohort, and you'll get a complimentary ticket to come to the conference March 6th and 7th, which will be complimentary in the group coaching program. So you don't want to miss it. How do you get in? Simply email me at farrahlaurent1@gmail. For those of you that are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, I believe you'll see my email come up on the screen. For you all on TikTok, you can simply just message me if you didn't catch my email, or watch my previous videos and you'll see the email there, which is farrahlaurent1@gmail.com. So if you email me, you will get entry into this free training for any nurse that's interested in starting a business or growing their business. And that's tomorrow. You'll get a Zoom link where you can actually register. Once the webinar is full, that's it. You'll have to wait for the next one, and I'm not sure when the next one will happen. Do you have any national board certifications? Yes, I have multiple board certifications. I'm a certified emergency nurse, CEN, certified pediatric emergency nurse, trauma certified nurse, nurse executive advanced board certified, also NPDBC board certified, which is the nursing professional development certification, and then CPXP, which is certified in professional patient experience professional. And I highly recommend for any nurses that want to advance in their career, if you do get certified, this will definitely help you in your career. It's, it's not a must, but it shows expertise in your subject matter, in your field. And, for me, it was emergency, leadership, education. Those are really my specialties. I was an emergency nurse in a level 1 trauma center for 13 years. I was a travel nurse. Then I went into education. I was a travel nurse at multiple places, mostly in New York City. I worked for NYU in their ER, worked in multiple level 1 trauma centers like in Detroit, in Canada, and then moved into education as a clinical instructor for NYU School of Nursing. And then I was also a clinical bedside educator for a small ICU ortho unit, then moved on to some director of education positions where I led system-wide orientation for NYC Health and Hospital, preceptor programs. Sometimes I had orientation where I had about 120 nurses and I led that system-wide orientation. And also I was the director of education at a large health system in New Jersey. And then I transitioned into academia where I was the director of a nursing program in New Jersey all the way up to associate dean. So I went from bedside, being a level 1 trauma nurse, right out of nursing school. Even though they told me that I couldn't be an ER nurse, I was like, watch me. That's why I help new nurses today. That's why I became a nurse career coach, right? Because that was 20 years ago, and they were telling me that I couldn't be starting in the ER, and I still did. And that was back then when there was no residency programs for ER nurses, and I still did it. So till this day, they're still asking new nurses to go into med-surg. Nothing wrong with med-surg, but if you don't like med-surg, then I'm not part of that narrative. Like, I do not believe new nurses should start in med-surg. I don't believe nurses should start in the hospital if they don't want to. My big mission is to help nurses start where they want to start, and pivot whenever they want to pivot into another area, specialty area, whether it's in the hospital, outpatient setting, remote, work for in policy, work for the government, work in community, whatever it is, I empower nurses to do that. Okay. And that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years. And to help nurses see nursing differently, because there are so many different opportunities in nursing, but particularly in business. There's a lot of nurses going into nurse entrepreneurship, and they're not really quite sure how to market themselves, how to promote their businesses or products, how to show up online on social media, how to create a personal brand. We don't really learn this in nursing school, right? And you don't necessarily have to go get an MBA. Like, you don't need another business degree to be able to be a nurse entrepreneur. Okay, I've joined a lot of different business masterminds, had business marketing coaches. You don't need an MBA, right? There are people that have MBAs, and nothing against MBAs, like, go for it if you have the money. But there are people with MBAs that don't start businesses, right? So you don't necessarily need an MBA. What you need is the audacity to just start, the audacity to have action, to take action and to be bold, to believe in yourself, to believe in your idea, and to take some risks. That's really true entrepreneurship, and really being a good problem solver. Any nurse that's interested in business, all the skills that you've learned in nursing are all transferable to starting a business or growing a business, okay? But of course, it takes commitment. I'm not going to say that, like, overnight, you're going to be this like sensation and being able to just leave your full-time job and 100% go into nurse entrepreneurship, right? It's a phase, right? But if you're ready, you're committed, and you're like, I want to start at least having multiple streams of income, whether that's through speaking, writing a book, being a podcaster, being paid as a consultant or a coach. There are many opportunities for you in business. A lot of nurse practitioners are starting their own practices, telehealth, med spas, so many different opportunities, right? And you can be an education consultant, a leadership consultant. There's so many things you can do. So again, I just wanted to drop by. I'm not going to stay too long, and just let you know about tomorrow's webinar. If you want to register, email me now while there's space, farah.laurent1@gmail.com. And this is for any nurse who's interested in business. Email me so you can get into this free webinar. It's tomorrow, November 13th at 12 noon Eastern. So lunchtime, you can join me and the others, and we'll be talking about all things business and how you can start your own business or grow your current business. Branding, visibility, how to attract clients, lead magnets, lead generation, all these things are what novice business owners struggle with. So we're going to go through some of those things, and hopefully I'll be able to answer all your questions, and then I will present to you the Business Accelerator and see if you are eligible to join. You'll have the opportunity to join my group coaching program for any nurse interested in business. And once you do join live on the webinar, you'll get a complimentary ticket to my Nurses Making Business Moves conference, which is going to be in Tampa, March 6th and 7th, 2026. Again, it'll be a complimentary ticket to the conference. And if you just want to go to the conference, you can also check that out on my website, nursefarah.com. Under events, you can get your ticket there. And I have a landing page that I'm actually creating. It should be ready pretty soon. So I'll share that once it's ready and up and going. Okay. So again, for you to join this free training, this free webinar tomorrow, email me now so you can get in November 13th, 12 Eastern. Email me at farah.laurent1@gmail.com to get into the free training. Who is this for? Any nurse, nursing student, any nurse in education, leadership, wherever you are, whether you have a business, you have a business idea, you've started a business, you've been in business 5 years, whatever it is, if you're interested in business, this webinar is for you. Again, my name is Dr. Fair Laurent. I am happy that you stayed and listened to me. Thank you again. I will see you tomorrow if you do email me for this free webinar, and I'll see you tomorrow.